So Joe Biden has a strategy. And this strategy, I think if you've been a regular listener to the program, makes total sense, at least based upon my theory as to why Joe Biden will ultimately falter. Now, he may not. I have conceded every time I've talked about this. This may be a product of motivated reasoning, as they call it, maybe aspirational on my part. But I'm convinced by the fall, deep into the fall, Joe Biden will be maybe third in the polling instead of first. And the reason my theory is based on the idea that people right now who are supportive of Joe Biden largely are doing so because they perceive him as Uncle Joe and as Obama's vice president. And they do not have a recollection of Joe Biden, the man Joe Biden, who ran unsuccessfully for president in 1988 and ran unsuccessfully for president in 2008 and was horrible in the Anita Hill hearings and was horrible on things like protecting credit card businesses' interests over human beings' interests in the writing of the bankruptcy bill, and horrible on race in other areas. I mean, just on and on. And I am convinced that over the course of when people start paying attention to the primary, people are going to see that. Some of them are going to get turned off. Then all of a sudden, his electoral invincibility is going to be less, which has also been a key selling point for him. So what do you do if you believe that too and you're Joe Biden? I'll tell you what you do. Very little.
Adrian, meanwhile, the Washington Post is reporting that Joe Biden has decided to run a, quote, campaign of limited exposure. How effective of a strategy could that be?
Well, Craig, I don't think this is going to serve Joe Biden well in the long run, because candidates have to expose themselves to the people. They have to, show who they truly are to voters and show their personality. And I think when you have staff potentially siphoning them off and not allowing them to, press the flesh, as we say in politics, on the campaign trail and really get to know folks by quarantining them off, I think that can be a dangerous trajectory, especially in this field of 24 candidates. And we all know, Allie's on the ground in Iowa right now. We all know that Iowa voters, they flirt with a lot of candidates. It's almost like dating. They go on a lot of dates with candidates, and then they ultimately decide who they want to support. But they want to meet everybody. They want to have real conversations. And I think if Joe Biden's team is somehow sectioning him off from that ability, then that's going to hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that's going to help him in the long run, because people have an idea of him in their mind, and there's nothing worse than having an ideal of someone in their mind and then actually dealing with the real person. So Joe Biden is smart to hide. The problem may end up being when people say, maybe this isn't an energy thing. Maybe it's Joe Biden making it sound like we're going to play the incumbent game, where the incumbent usually stays in the White House and doesn't come out and that type of thing. But maybe what's really going on is Joe Biden just can't handle the campaign trail.
Looks like we got another low energy guy.
Could be.
Honestly,
I don't know.
That still is probably the best strategy for him. And this Hillary lady was so stuck on personalities. People know his personality. Lots of people like his personality. The thing that they really don't want people to see is his policies and his record.
I don't know if people even know his personality in the same way. They might. But
he's like Obama's curmudgeonly, lovable, old friend, sidekick guy.
The Joe Biden from The Onion magazine, basically.
Yes, but the problem is that when he gets up on stage with other people, how is he going to react? And again, this is going to come down to how lucky is Joe Biden. It's going to be a coin toss on some level. If he's up there, particularly with Elizabeth Warren, I think that's could have extremely detrimental outcome for Joe Biden. He'll get critique from other people, and other people are situated, but Elizabeth Warren practically entered politics on some level because of Joe Biden. And she's going to go directly at him because she's going to have to. And she is not going to be as afraid to alienate his voters as I think all the other candidates might be. And Joe Biden's condescending, sort of dismissive qualities are not going to look so good when he's saying that to, the nice lady from the Midwest.
I don't know. We still live in such a sexist country, though. Like, it comes down to whether people are going to be choosing based on policy or based on their general vibe. Because I think if you go based on general vibe, Joe Biden beats Elizabeth Warren. People think he's cool for some reason.
Like I say, what I am banking on is that that's going to change when they're sitting on a stage together. But you may be right.
Or they could just hear her being like this shrill, whiny woman, like, we need to protect consumers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, forgive me, Father. Ha, ha, ha.
I totally concede
down,
that
honey.
could happen, too. We're going to see. That's why we're going to do complete coverage of the debates in June and July and August and September, October, November, whenever the debates are. That's why we will be doing all of that.
Hours and hours of debates.